So we are live now. Please go ahead. I'll make you the host and leave.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And I welcome you all to today's basic communication skills session. In the previous session, we actually got started with daily routine. We came up with a pattern. We actually made sure that we come up with our own sentences, what we all do from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, right? And there was one participant who was able to let us know about her daily routine, and I helped her to correct the sentences. And I'm sure the corrections definitely must have helped the rest of the participants who were watching the video. Okay, so we'll continue the journey today.
Line. Line.
Good afternoon, Ahmed, Emmanuel Kasango, Neeraj, Sandhini Anupama, Saijay Sharma. I'm glad we have 6 participants so far. I think last time it was Anupama who spoke, right? If I'm not wrong. Kindly let me know via chat quickly. Okay, thank you, Anupama, for confirming the same. So let me allow you all to speak. At any point of time, if you want to unmute yourself and you want to actually speak, you can do that. I'm doing it at the beginning of the session so that I do not have to keep allowing you to speak. All right. So what about the rest of the participants, by the way? Did you all get an opportunity to practice daily routine? Did you come across any questions based on the same pattern of sentence by any chance? If you do not have any questions, I'll go ahead and ask my questions.
Hi, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Anupama.
Ma'am, last day I was talking. I gave you a speech about the unforgettable day only. I didn't do that daily routine thing.
Okay, it was definitely, a female for sure who shared the daily routine. So I just wanted to know who was it. Doesn't matter. We have rest of the participants here. If you can quickly go through, if each one of you can take only 2 minutes and you can share your daily routine so that I can be rest assured about the fact that you have learned the pattern, you have understood how to use the pattern in your day-to-day conversation. If you could do that quickly. Saijay, would you like to go with that? Last time you were there, right? You did it in the session.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Saijay.
Ma'am, unfortunately, yeah, the last session I could not attend. I could not attend the last session because my internet was not stable.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so I have watched half of the YouTube video till now, and rest half I will see after this session.
Okay, okay. Great, Shama. Thank you. Thank you so much. What about
You're
Kasango?
welcome, ma'am.
Kasango, would you like to go? Would you like to get started? We'll just finish with
Sure,
that.
sure.
Otherwise, it'll be kind of in between before I could get into something new. Yes, Kasango, get started. And Saijaya, as you told me that you did not attend the session. Definitely, whatever we are going to discuss, okay, in the form of corrections to each of the participants. Daily routine sharing is definitely applicable to you too. So you can actually pick up certain things from that, and if you can be ready at least by the end of everybody's sharing, I think I'm going to be really glad if that's okay with you. All right, Kasongo, let's get started with you.
All right. No, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Daily routine, right?
Correct.
Um, I start.
Yes.
I woke up around 9. Oh, sorry, around 6 a.m.
Okay.
And after that, mostly I check my phone for notifications. I check my phone. I scroll through to see if I have any notifications. After that, that's when around 7 a.m.
Okay.
I get out of my bed and go and brush my teeth and wash my face. Then around 8, I make sure it's around 8 because that's around 8:30. I eat my breakfast, and after eating my breakfast, I mostly if it's a Sunday, I start preparing for church because I'm a Christian. I start preparing to go to church. I take a shower. I iron my clothes. Then I go to church around. I go to church around 9. Then come back home around, that is 12:30. That is p.m. around 12:30 p.m. Yes, and it's a.m. No, sorry, not 12. It's p.m. Yeah, around 12:30 p.m. And after coming back home, I eat lunch. Mostly, I again take a shower and prepare for my studies. I'm also doing another course that is online. I start studying maybe for about 2 hours. I take study. After that, that's when I go on social media again and just, make myself busy with something to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I? Yeah, just that.
That's
Up
it.
to should I end up to the time I sleep?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
All right. Then I browse through social media up to 18:30 somewhere there. Then I go and watch news. That is, it starts around 7 p.m. That is the national affairs for my country. I go and watch some news. After that, we start watching movies with my brothers because I don't have any sister. With my brothers, we laugh, we chat. After that, we go to bed. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Kasango. Please mute yourself. Just to give a quick heads up on the correction part, I don't know whether you mentioned woke up or wake up because it kind of sounded like woke up to me. The first sentence, what you got started with, it sounded
Uh,
like woke up to me. Just correct me if I'm wrong, if I heard you right.
wake up. I said wake.
Wake up.
Wake.
Okay, great. So if it's wake up, great, then no problem. Um, See, you mentioned a sentence called "I start preparing to go to church." Right? You
Yes.
usually get you usually get ready to go to church.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
You
So how was I supposed to say?
correct. So you can just say that I get ready to go to church. The sentence has to be I get ready to go to church.
Okay.
I get ready. Keep it as simple as possible. I get ready to go to church. That's more than sufficient. Say, when will you have to prepare yourself to go to church? When you are the pastor, when you have to, share the message, the sermon with the people, right? So you just get
Yes.
ready, right? Get ready to go to church. There were two sentences what you mentioned, that I sit in the evening and I study. Instead of that, you can keep it as simple as possible. Again, I study for 2 hours. Okay, see, it's very simple. Instead of two to three different sentences what you mentioned, you can just come up with one sentence which can just mention, I study for how many hours? For 2 hours, for 3 hours. I study for an hour. If you would like to mention what you study, you can do that. You can actually mention that too. For example, I study history for 2 hours. I study
Okay.
mathematics for 2 hours. I practice English for 2 hours. Okay. So anything, whatever is convenient for you, practice English for 2 hours, something like this. So instead of keeping the sentences, unnecessarily prolonged, you can actually make sure that you can keep it as short as possible and as sweet as possible. Sounds great, Kosango?
All right. Yes, sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for your participation. Let's go with the next participant quickly. Anupama, could you be the next participant?
Okay, ma'am.
Please go ahead.
Um, Usually I get up at 4:30 in the morning. Then I brush my teeth, wash myself, comb my hair, and get ready to go to swimming practices.
Mm-hmm.
And normally the practices starts at 5 a.m. and it goes till 8. Like and soon after 15 minutes after finishing my practices, I have my breakfast while I'm traveling by the car back to home. After coming to my home, I clean up my swimming instruments by washing them and put them out, letting them to dry up. And then I observe my religion at home and I have a nap. Uh, After the nap, I feel so refreshed, and then I start studying for like 5 hours in the middle, and in the middle of 5 hours, I usually have a small break. Moreover, if it is a Monday, Wednesday, or a Friday, I get ready for this English communication course by recalling my memory about the previous classes. And then soon after studying, I usually have my lunch. Then I watch a movie in the television. In the evening, I make coffee for all of my family members, and then I water the plants in my garden. Then it will be around 6. So when it's around 6:30, I help my mother to prepare the dinner by cutting vegetables, washing the dishes, and scraping coconuts, etc. So when it's around 8 p.m., we have dinner. Then after the dinner, me and my family members discuss about the things that happened within the day or else the experiences during the day. So after that, I observe my religion and then go to sleep around 10 p.m. So this is the way how I spend my day. And addition to all I mentioned before, I used to sing in the shower, dance like no one is watching, do something stupid with my sister. Then I listen to the chirping of the crickets, birds singing, and wind blowing in my garden. Um, Not only that, I usually explore my memory bank and remind the old stomping grounds where I had tons of fun. So when I do that, I feel that I'm flooding with more positive memories that I have forgotten about until now. So that's it, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Anupama. That was really nice to know everything about your daily routine. Quickly, to get started with, one thing I really appreciate is even the same thing with Kasongo happened. I really appreciate the confidence what you all have, because what I strongly feel as a trainer as well as a facilitator is you need confidence to speak in a language first. The rest of the factors usually do come along. The moment you have confidence, you can just get going right? So that's the best part of the story. Second, really loved all the adjectives what you tried your level best to use in almost every sentence, like scraping the coconut, okay? It could be even, like what you, as you were mentioning, I cut the vegetables, I kind of like, do the dishes. So all those, it was really nice. Trying to use as many action words as possible, as many adjectives as possible, always helps you to elevate your language. That's great. So quickly, just to look at the factor, where all we went wrong. And these corrections are not only applicable to Anupama, it's applicable to all the participants, all the viewers who are watching the video right now. The first sentence what you mentioned was, I wash myself, right? Correct. So the correct formation has to be, I have a wash. I have a wash. Or you can say, I take a shower. I take a shower. I have a wash, or take a shower, or I have a bath, have a bath, any of these. Whether have a wash is equal to take a shower is equal to have a bath. All the three are synonyms to one another. Whichever you would prefer to use, you can go ahead with that. Second, see, you were talking about singing practice. You actually practice singing, right? It's only practice, not practices. Practice. Practices actually takes a different turn altogether, which is not fitting into the context of daily routine. Okay. Next is, after coming to my home. I think we did discuss this, Anupama, in the previous session. We never use to with home. Okay. You can say, I'm going to college. I come back to college. I'm going to market. Everything is absolutely perfect. But when it comes to home, whether you're going home, you're coming back home, doesn't matter. We never use the word to. After coming back home, the sentence has to be, after coming back home. Okay. So make sure that you make this correction. Next, I wanted to understand, Anupama, what exactly did you mean by observe my religion? I really did not get that. Would you like to throw some light on that?
Uh, I meant, ma'am, I worship Lord Buddha.
Okay. So you worship, right?
Yes, ma'am.
When you say observe, what's the meaning? You have a lot of religious people around. You sit and observe what they are doing. That's the meaning. But you worship Buddha. Basically, in Buddhism, if I'm not wrong, people chant mantras. They keep affirming things to happen. Correct?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you worship Buddha or you observe the religion?
I worship Lord Buddha.
Correct. So simple. So you can keep it as simple as possible. You can just say, I worship Lord Buddha for an hour's time. Okay. Or I chant mantras. Okay. So the
Okay,
sentences
ma'am.
have to be like this. I worship God Almighty. Whichever name you would like to use, doesn't matter. The pattern is not going to change. I worship, or I offer puja, I offer prayer, I offer namaz. We discussed this in the previous session, right? Either you can say, I worship directly, I worship God for some time, or you can say, I offer prayer, I offer puja, I offer namaz, anything. Okay. So whichever suits you. Next sentence, what you mentioned was, Anupama, have a break. I have a break. You take a break, right? Okay. When will you have a break? When somebody gives you a break. I repeat, you will have a break when somebody gives you a break. So it is not have a break. This right word has to be, I take a break for some time. I repeat, I take a break for some time. Okay. Or I take a break for half an hour. I take a break of an hour's time, like this. Okay. You never have a break. You take a break because you're giving yourself a break. No one is giving you a break. If your teacher is giving you a break, then you have a break. If your mom is giving you a break, then you have a break. But when you are giving break to your own self, you never have a break. You actually take a break. Okay, from whatever you are doing for that matter. Next, use this word called, I try to remember everything from the previous class, right? This is one mistake what have actually happened to notice most of the participants committing. So let me talk about it in detail. And this is very important. So please make sure that you pay attention. Let me write the last, let me take down the last mistake what you committed on one side. Okay, so coming back here, please understand, remember and recollect are two different words. I repeat, remember and recollect are two different words. What exactly do you mean by recollect? Recollect means you're trying to recall what happened in the past. I repeat, recollect means trying to recall, trying to recall. So the right word what you should have used, Anupama, in that context, I recall what I learned in the previous session. Okay, I recall, or I try recollecting what I learned in the previous session. Trying to recall what happened in the past. That's the meaning. Okay. So recall, recollect go hand in hand. When you say remember, hey, you must remember the poem. Okay. You should remember me. So this is like, I'm actually helping you to keep that in your brains. Remember. Okay. Remember. This is connected to present. Remember. Remember. You should always be obedient to your parents. Remember. Okay. You have to study at least for 2 hours to crack INSAT. Remember. Okay. So when you say remember, this is connected to present. Recollect or recall is connected to past. Are we clear, Anupama? This is very important information. So make sure that you are not committing the same mistake. You usually recall things. When it is about past, it's always about recalling, recollecting. You never remember things. Okay, that's an incorrect word to use. So just keep past present concept in your brain so that it can help you to differentiate faster. Okay, last but definitely not all the least, that's the, you use the word called the dinner. Okay, please understand, in generally, this is very important. In general, when you talk about breakfast, lunch, brunch, dinner, supper, you never use any article with these words. This is a rule, what we have in English grammar. I have a breakfast, I have the breakfast, I have my breakfast. We never say that. Okay, but because these words are common words which are used in a very general context. These words are common words which are used in general context. Okay, so usually when you generally talk about breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper, etc., you never use any article, but terms and conditions apply. Let's imagine now, let's imagine Kasongo invited all of us to his place to have dinner. Okay, let's imagine. So hopefully in the future, we would expect Kasongo to invite all of us, right? So let's imagine that he has invited all of us. We go there, we have dinner. Let's even imagine that the dinner is so delicious. Let's imagine that. Okay. So now after having the dinner, we all come back, we just get off the place and we start talking to one another saying, wow, I tell you, the dinner was awesome, the dinner was delicious, one of the unforgettable dinners I've ever had in my life. Now pay attention, why am I saying the dinner? Because now I'm saying the dinner because I'm speaking about a specific dinner which we had at Kosongo's space. Okay, I'm talking about a specific, a particular, a definite dinner which we had together at Kasongo's place. Here in this context, I can say the dinner. Why I'm speaking about something very specific. I'm not talking about every day's dinner. I'm talking about the dinner what we had at Kasongo's place. I wish the dinner could have been better. Maybe we all went to attend a wedding. Maybe the dinner what they had arranged wasn't good. Assuming the factor again, right? I can say the dinner was pathetic. The dinner was insipid. The dinner was completely tasteless. I can use any other word. Why? I'm specifically talking about the dinner what we had at a party, at an event, at a wedding. You get my point? So you otherwise in general when you talk about daily routine, when you talk about having breakfast, lunch, dinner, you never use the or a. Only in specific situations for specific reasons you tend to use the dinner, the breakfast, the lunch. Am I making it clear to everyone? Hope everyone understood what we discussed just now. Yes or no, please let me know quickly via chat. Okay, thank you. All right. So next is Mayat. All right. Thank you to all the people who have responded. Neeraj Rati, it's your turn. If you could come up with your daily routine, we would love to hear so that I could help you to correct your sentences. Omar, you can go next. Neeraj is, 1 second. Yes, Mr. Sharma, yes, you have something to say?
Ma'am, I have to try, ma'am.
Yes. Are you ready now?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to go right away?
Yes, ma'am.
Neeraj, it's okay if you weren't present that day. See, as we are still discussing daily routine and you have a lot of people speaking, you can pick up because according to me, we are never ready for anything what we do not like to get into. We have to make ourselves get ready. Okay. Okay, Neeraj. So, Saijay Sharma, you go ahead first. Afterwards, let Neeraj take the turn.
Uh, okay, ma'am. Uh, Usually, I wake up at 6 a.m. to 6:30 a.m., 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. And after that, I go to washroom for the refreshment,
Okay.
and uh, I do some warm up exercise,
Mm-hmm.
and after that I I go to take bath,
Okay.
and then after I go to do some prayer I, at temple,
Okay.
and then after I take breakfast, and then I and then I study for 2 to 3 hours. Usually I study mathematics,
Okay.
and after that I play on some online games with my high school's friend,
All right.
and after that I I go to market for shopping,
All right.
and then after I take evening breakfast, and then I spend sometimes I spend sometimes with my parents,
Okay.
and then I take dinner,
Hmm.
and after I go to bed.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
All
ma'am.
right.
Welcome. You are welcome.
That's very fast, Saijay Sharma, because in spite of you being absent in the previous session, you decided to go first. I really appreciate it. I know as soon as possible, you just came up with the pattern. I really appreciate that factor. So quickly, let me help you to correct your sentences. Make sure that you have a pen and a paper handy. This might be helpful to all the people who are watching right now. This is very important. Very silly mistake, but how silly mistakes can actually spoil the meaning of the entire sentence is something what we have to learn. Okay. Mr. Sharma, you mentioned this sentence called "I go to washroom for refreshments." Do you know what's the meaning of refreshments by any chance? No? Okay, refreshments basically means snacks. Snacks. Okay, snacks like a cup of coffee with cookies, or a cup of tea with samosa, anything, whatever light snack you would like to have, which can fill your stomach for time being. So until you have dinner, or you have lunch, etc., etc. That's called refreshments, which refreshes you. Point to be noted, which refreshes you, which rejuvenates you from the inside. That's actually called refreshments. So the sentence what you must have actually spoken here, not I go to washroom to have refreshments, which is absolutely incorrect. You should have said I get freshened up. Very simple sentence. I get freshened up. Look at this. Freshened up. Freshened up and refreshment are two different terminologies which carry entirely two different meanings. Okay, so we can't afford to commit a mistake over there. So make sure that you never say I go to washroom to have refreshments. That's actually going to sound extremely funny, but it's okay. It's okay to commit as many mistakes as possible when we are in the path of, when we are actually walking on the path of learning, right? So please make sure that you are correcting the sentence. Refreshments. Let's arrange some refreshments to the guest. Okay, I think, what about refreshments? Anything we have for refreshments? Like this. You can use refreshments in a different manner, in the context of snacks, but not in the context of going to toilet or brushing your teeth. No, definitely not. Okay. Next, you said, I go to take a bath. You don't have to keep on saying, I go to have breakfast, I go to take a bath, I go to college. You don't have to do that. Okay, it's understood. The word take itself is actually letting people know that you are doing a particular action. I have a bath. I take a shower. Okay, for example, I wake up at 6 a.m. and then I get freshened up. Later, I take a shower, something like this. Okay. So the word take bath or have bath or take a shower, all these are already conveying the message. You do not have to add go to, which is not required here. Okay. And there was a sentence what you mentioned, I have some breakfast. There is nothing called some breakfast. I have breakfast. Okay. I have breakfast. So that's the only sentence, that's the only thing what you have to mention over here. By any chance, if you want to mention the quantity, you can say, I have very less breakfast. Okay, very nominal breakfast. Or you can say, I have very light breakfast. The best word to use here, light breakfast. Okay, light breakfast. I have light breakfast, I have light dinner. Okay, usually we call this as executive breakfast. Anything which keeps you awake, which doesn't make you feel completely snoozy, is actually called executive breakfast, executive dinner, executive lunch. Something which fills your stomach at the same time, not too much, so that you get dozed off. Okay, so you never say some. You can say I have light breakfast, or you can directly say I have breakfast or I eat breakfast. Okay. Mr. Sharma, you have this tendency of using after that, after that, after that, after every sentence. What you can do is, this is a tip to all the participants who are attending the session right now. How do you say? You can actually make a note of few words like then, later, afterwards. Okay, afterwards, after some time, after some time, and so these are all called fillers. This will help you to get going with the next sentence. You have to use it wisely, not one fillers after every sentence, otherwise it actually sounds very odd. So I'll just teach you how to use it. For example, I wake up early in the morning at 5 a.m. Then I get freshened up. Later, I take a shower. After some time, I have breakfast and I go to college. Okay, you understand my point? You use different fillers so that it actually sounds something different to the person who is listening to you. At the same time, not the same filler after every sentence. That's actually not acceptable. You can't keep saying, I wake up early in the morning and I take a shower and I have a breakfast. And if you do this is actually very irritating to anybody's ears. You cannot do this. A repetition of one particular filler after completion of each sentence is not acceptable. But when you have a list of fillers and you keep using different fillers, after the completion of every sentence, that sounds great. That kind of gives the connection. So that works like transition. Okay, so make sure of this. This is one more. Yeah. Evening breakfast. 1 second. Let me quickly erase all this so that we have some space. Okay, now let's go to the next correction. The next sentence what Sharma used was, I have evening breakfast. There's nothing called evening breakfast. You usually have snacks in the evening, right? You usually have snacks in the evening. It might be a glass of milk with cookies, or it might be a cup of coffee or a cup of tea with maybe, cookies or samosas or anything light to eat, which is not going to completely work like dinner or brunch or lunch, but it keeps your stomach full for some time until you have dinner, right? So there is nothing called evening breakfast. Please remove that from your dictionary. There's nothing called evening breakfast. Breakfast is breakfast, and breakfast is always the first meal of the day. It cannot get shifted to evening. Okay. There was one more mistake. The mistake was sometimes with my parents. See, I spend some time with my parents, not sometimes, some time with my parents. Okay. Sometimes means you're talking about different situations. Hey, do you watch movies? Yeah, sometimes. Do you go to market? Yes, sometimes. Do you attend classes? Yes, sometimes. So when you say sometimes, it means not regularly, not every day, okay, not quite frequently, but sometimes I do it. Only sometimes. Out of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday class, maybe I attend only Monday class, or maybe I attend only 2 sessions a week. Okay, sometimes, very rarely. That's the meaning. So sometime is different, sometimes is different. Sometimes is countable. Point to be noted. Sometime is not countable, it's measurable. I would like to spend some time with my teacher. Hey, could we spend some time together after the class? I think we need some time to think over this. So this is correct. Sometime not countable, sometimes definitely countable. So please have this in mind. Are we clear? Mr. Sharma, I hope. Do you have any questions by any chance based on the corrections what I've made? Any questions, clarifications? Sharma, are you there? No? Yes, Neeraj. So as Sharma has actually chosen to be, quiet, maybe there's an issue with him. Doesn't matter. Neeraj, we'll go with you next.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Could you keep your microphone a little closer to your mouth?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thanks.
Is it audible, ma'am?
Yes, it is.
Ma'am, I have two daily routines. I have to say before lockdown or after lockdown.
Whichever you prefer to.
I usually get up at 7 a.m. before lockdown, but due to lockdown and being in the home, I usually get up at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I go to washroom for fresh up.
Mm-hmm.
Then I you then I have my breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Later I go to for a shower.
Come again?
Shower. Afterward, I have to play with my friends online game.
Mm-hmm.
It takes it takes mostly 2 to 3 hours regularly. Sorry, ma'am. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. Go ahead. No one is perfect here, including me.
I
So go
usually play 1 2 hours in the morning.
Mhm.
Then I goes to my workplace and work in the computer.
Okay.
Then I have my lunch nearly at 2 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And later I take a nap.
Okay.
Then I have my evening snacks.
Okay.
Then I go to the park for walking.
Mm-hmm.
Then I prepare at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. I prepare my journal notes that I have done, what I have done in today's routine. Then then I have my dinner, and at 9, most probably at 9, sat up on my computer and start playing games for creating content on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Then I create. Then at 12 a.m. I create my new daily routine and I went to sleep.
Okay. Thank you so much, Neeraj. So please take down all the corrections quickly. Okay. All right. So first thing is being in the home. That's the sentence what you mentioned. Usually you should always say, I am at home. I am at home. I was at home. I will be at home. Please pay attention. I
Yes.
am at home. I was at home. I will be at home. Point to be noted. We did discuss this in the second class with each other. I told you whenever you talk about any specific buildings, point to be noted, whenever you talk about any specific buildings, you should always use the definite the preposition at. Please make a note. Whenever you talk about specific buildings, okay, we did discuss this. It might be repetition for few people, but this is very important. Whenever you talk about specific building, that could be home, that could be office, that could be theater or multiplex, okay, that could be mall, that could be college or school, college or school. So whenever you talk about any specific building, when somebody asks you the question, hey, where are you? And you are mentioning or referring to any of these specific buildings, including hospital, police station, anything, because a specific building can be anything. It need not to be home all the time, right? So from that perspective, when somebody asks you, hey, where are you? I'm at home. Where is Neeraj? I think Neeraj is at office. Where is Mayat? Mayat is at the multiplex. Oh, where is Zenith? Zenith, I think, is at the mall. Where are you? I'm at college. You get my point? So whenever somebody asks you this question, where are you? And you are referring to the specific building, any of the specific buildings, please blindfoldedly go with at. Your answer should always start with at. I stay at home. I spend some quality time at home. I spend some quality time with my sister at home. I spend some quality time with my parents at home. Okay, so this is the first correction. What I would like to make you. What I would like to make, 1 second. Okay, next is I go to washroom. Just now I was mentioning, Reeraj, you don't have to mention I go to. You don't have to say I go to have breakfast. I go to take a shower. I go to sit and study. You don't have to do that. Why? Because the word what you're using after that, for example, I get freshened up, or I take a shower, or I have a bath. Okay, it's already directly telling people that what action are you preferring to do. Okay, so I go to is unnecessary in this particular context. It's actually a request to all of you, please do not use I go to, I go to, I go to, which sounds very odd to people. See, it's understood, right? If you need to have breakfast, you need to get up from the place where you're sitting. Maybe you have to reach the dining table, you have to sit on the chair. That details is not required. I don't have to say I have breakfast. Before I have breakfast, I get off my chair and then I reach the dining table. I sit on the chair. Then my mom serves me food and then I have breakfast. This is unnecessary. This is what is called beating around the bush. Okay. Directly, you can just say, speak a sentence saying, I have breakfast, I have lunch, I have snacks, I have a cup of coffee, I have dinner. More than sufficient. Keep it as simple as possible. And see, I think we all have gotten to this very bad habit of my breakfast, my breakfast, my breakfast, my dinner, my lunch, my supper, my snacks. I have already mentioned this. I did mention this in the previous class too. When you are speaking in a very general context where specification is not required, please don't say, I'm having my breakfast, you're having your breakfast. She's having her breakfast, he's having his breakfast. Not needed. She's having breakfast. I'm having lunch. You're having dinner. He's having supper. We are having snacks. You get my point? So that's the correction. You never say my, your, our, his. You never say with breakfast, lunch, brunch, dinner, supper. Please lock that in your mind. Next, I play with my friends some online game. This was the sentence what you mentioned. See now, while framing the sentence, you have to understand this. This is the pattern. First, you have to tell us what action you're doing. Okay, what action you're doing. Second is specification. Specification. Third is where or with whom or, okay, why. You can answer to these questions at the end. So Neeraj, your sentence should have been, I play. That's the first one. That's the action, correct. I play. You play what? You play online games. Mention that immediately. Online games. I play. I play what? Specifically, I play online games. With whom? With my friends. With my friends. Okay. Like this. I study. Study what? Most probably I study English. Okay. Why do I study? Imagine I can actually say anything over here. I study English for 2 hours. 2 hours. Okay, I'm mentioning how long I study English to improve my English or to improve my communication skills. To improve my communication skills. This is how you frame the sentence. Okay, so keep this particular pattern in mind so that this can help you, on a longer run, which is going to be really great. Okay. Next, I goes to workplace. See this? Sometimes we make some sentences very complicated. I goes to. First of all, we never say I goes. It's always I go, I speak, I study, I wake up, I sing, I dance, I eat, I drink, I sleep. Okay. You never say I sleeps, I loves, I comes. We discussed this in the first class when somebody asked this question, when to add yes, when not to add yes. I spoke about it. Neeraj, you can actually, uh, watch that particular video in which I have discussed this. Very almost I took 15 to 20 minutes to explain this. So please go back and watch that video. When to add yes to action word, when not to add yes to action word. I have discussed that. Okay, please go ahead with that. So the sentence has to be I go to, see this, my workplace. Why complication again? You can directly say I go to office. I go to office, whether is your home is office, whether your office is office, whether the company is an office. I don't care. We don't need to know all those information, right? You can just directly say, I go to office. I go to college. We go to library. They go to movie. She goes to school. Like this. Okay. So make sure of that. Then next sentence was I go for walking. Look at this. I go for walking. This might be looking a little haphazard. I'm sorry, I had to take down the notes as he was speaking. I know it's not very organized, very systematically written, for sure. Go for walking. You never say go for walking. You say I go for a walk. Okay. Either you can say I go walking. Point to be noted. Please make a note. Either you can say I go for a walk. In the place of walk, you can add anything. I go for a jog. Okay. I go for a swim. Okay. Like this, you can add, or you can say, I go walking. I go walking. I go jogging. All right. In fact, if you ask me, this is also a little redundant. Directly, you can say, I swim. I walk. I jog. I walk half a kilometer. I jog 2 kilometers every day. I swim for an hour's time, like this. Okay. So either you can say this or you can directly use the word directly. Directly, you can say, I jog. I jog every day for 45 minutes. I swim for half an hour. I walk at least for 20 minutes. Okay, so this is how the pattern should be. Remember, the words can change. Action words always will change based on what you want to say, but the pattern will never change. That's the beauty of English language. The pattern will never change. Okay, so you can keep on adding any n number of words as you want, but the pattern remains the same. Are we clear? See, there was one more sentence what you mentioned. This was a little hilarious. Neeraj, you said I sat up on my computer. This was a sentence. I sat up on my computer. I sat up on my computer. In last session, I was discussing where to use in, where to use on, for which we discussed print and electronics. We discussed print and electronics. Okay. I very clearly told all the people, see, as you can see in print, whenever you talk about any printed items, always use in. That could be a newspaper, that could be a magazine, that could be a photograph, that could be a hoarding, that could be a banner. Any printed item, go blindfoldedly with in. Whenever you talk about any electronic items, see, can you see on here in electronics? Whenever you talk about any electronic items, blindfoldedly go with on. Now ask this question, computer is on or computer is actually electronics or printed item? Definitely it is. It is printed item. You have used the right word, but the way you have used it, you never sat up, right? What's the meaning of sat up? Imagine this is your computer and you're sitting on your computer. That's the meaning. You sit on your computer? No. You work on your computer. Very simple. I work on my laptop. I work on phone. I work on PC. I work on anything, any electronic item, doesn't matter. Okay. So you never sit on computer and work. I work directly on what? I work on my laptop. Okay. I work on my laptop. Right. So I hope Neeraj, I made sense so far in terms of all the corrections. Yes. Okay. So here we go. I think we are left with only Mayat and we get going with the new concept quickly. Yes, Mayat. Mayat, could we go with you next?
Yes, ma'am. I am yet.
All right. Thank you. Could we go with your daily routine?
Yes, ma'am. I get up early morning, about 6 a.m. First of all, I get my tea break and face the work. Then
Mayat,
I
I'm
take.
so sorry. 1 second. Go a little slow. Point number one. Point number two, keep your microphone a little closer to your mouth and pronounce every word with clarity so that we all can understand. If that's okay with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayat.
I get it early morning. First of all, I get my ticket break and face the work. Then I take physical exercise. Later, I take a bath. Then I usually have a breakfast. After that, I memorize my lesson for an hour. So next, I give my mother a hand. I give my mother a hand with household chores. And I have about 7. I'm prepared to I'm prepared to go to my college. My college. I put my play. I put my boat. I put my boat to. I put my boat to my bed according to the schedule. Uh, all of the all of the classes over at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. I go back home and I take a nap. After and I go out. I go out to ride bicycle with my friends and then take a good bath. At 6 p.m., I saw the table. The family is sit down around the table for dinner. We normally make a small job while having dessert. After that, I had my mom do the dish. Then I have been in habit of watching a Discovery movie for a while. I do my homework and brush my legs until midnight. Nick, I put down there and you share Nick, I put down there and you share happening all the day in my diary and then say my prayer. No sooner do I lie there, I fall asleep. Know that my daily routine like bring me enormous enjoyment.
Okay, Matt, thank you so much. Could I request you to go a little kind of like, even slower? Because I couldn't catch a lot of things. If you go a little slow, I can actually uh, kind of identify the mistakes in each of the sentences.
Yes, ma'am, I get slow.
Go very slow. Like, I wake up at 6 o'clock. Can you go in this space?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I get up 6 o'clock.
I
First
get
of
up at 6 o'clock. Make the correction. I get up at 6 o'clock. Whenever you mention a specific time, it should always go with at.
yes,
Yes, not I get up 6 o'clock. I get up at 6 o'clock. Or I wake up at 7 o'clock. I wake up at 5:30 early in the morning. At. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
first of I get my ticket break and face away.
Sorry. Come again. Come again. First of all.
First off.
First of all.
No, first off. OFF off.
OFF off.
First off. First off. I get my ticket brush and face away.
I'm sorry. I didn't actually get you, Matt. Go a little slower. It's okay. It takes some time to understand. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I don't want to give up neither on you nor on myself. Okay. Go a little slower.
I get my deep breath and face away. I
Um, I brush my teeth. Are you saying that?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. I brush my teeth and wash my face.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. I think you are telling it the other way around, right? It's a little reverted. It has to be I brush my teeth, I
I brush.
wash my face.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Then, then I take
Then
physical exercise.
I take
Physical exercise. Physical.
physical. Okay, okay, great. I take physical exercise. That's what you're saying, right? Okay, you can say I exercise for some time. I exercise for some time. Okay, you never take physical exercise. Okay, I
Yes,
exercise for
ma'am.
some time, or I run for half an hour. I jog for some time. I go for a walk for 20 minutes. Okay, I exercise for some time, or it could be even I do yoga for some time. Okay,
Okay,
or
ma'am.
I go for aerobics class for an hour's time, like this. Okay, in the context what you're speaking, it has to be I exercise for some time. Go ahead, go to the next sentence.
Later, I take a bath.
I
I take a bath.
I take a bath. Okay, yes.
I take a bath.
Yeah.
Then I usually have a breakfast.
I usually have breakfast.
After that, I memorize my lesson for an hour.
For an hour. Yes, for an hour. That's it. Very good. Correct.
Next, I get my mother at hand while household go.
Then I get my mother.
A hand. No, next I get my mother a hand. I
I'm
help
sorry.
my
Come.
mother.
I help my mother. Okay.
Mother.
I help my mother. Yes.
And mm, at half at 7:30, I am prepared to go to school.
I prepare to go to school. Okay. Very good.
I put my book to my bed according to the schedule. I put
Okay.
my book to
So
my bed according to the schedule.
yeah, you have to say I arrange my books. I arrange my books
Arrange my book.
according to timetable. I arrange my books in my bag according to the timetable. I arrange my books in the bag, okay, according to timetable. You always have timetable, right? According to timetable.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, my math.
All of my class is over at 4 o'clock. All of my class is over
Okay,
at 4 o'clock.
okay. You have to say my classes get over at 4 o'clock. My classes get over at 4 o'clock. Please make the correction. My
Yeah.
classes get over at 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock. Yes, next.
I go back home. I take a nap. I go
Sorry,
back home.
come again,
I go back home.
Okay. You mean to say I go home.
Yes, ma'am.
I go home. So you have to say I go home. Then I go home. Then I go home. Okay. Then I go home at blank. Or then I
I
come
take a
back
nap.
home at blank. Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
After I go up to ride bicycle with my friend. After
What do you do with
I
your
go,
friends?
after I go up To ride bicycle with my friend.
You go out for what?
To ride
Okay.
bicycle.
Sorry, come again. To write?
To ride bicycle. bicycle.
Bici.
No, man.
Oh,
bicycle.
bicycle, is it?
Bicycle. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay. Okay. Bicycle. All right.
With my friend.
Okay. Uh, so you're using the word ride, if I'm not wrong, correct? You're using the
Yes.
word ride. Past tense of ride is road, is what actually you are using, correct? In daily routine, no past tense action words. It should be always present tense. So the sentence has to be, I ride.
I ride bicycle.
Yeah, yeah,
With my friend.
yes. I ride bicycle with my friend, or you can say, I go for cycling. I go for cycling with my friends. This is also correct. With my
Yes, ma'am.
friends. I hope everybody is listening and making a note of all the correction. Rest of the
I am
participants, because this correction is not only applicable to Mayat, it's applicable to
bicycle.
each one of us. We all tend to commit the same mistakes. All right, Mayat, go ahead.
After that, take a good bath.
After
After
that,
that, take a good bath. Bath.
okay. I take a shower, take a bath.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. After that, I take a shower.
At
After that, I take a
6 p.m.
shower. Yes,
Yes, ma'am. At 6 p.m., I set the table. My family sit down around the table for dinner.
very good. So you can directly say, at 7 o'clock, I set the table for dinner. I set the table for dinner. You do not have to say, my family sit around the table. That's not needed. I set the table for dinner.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
set the table for dinner.
What is that? We normally make a small talk with having dessert.
Okay.
After that, I help my mom do the
Okay. Do the dishes.
dishes.
I help my mom do the dishes.
Dishes.
Yes. Not
Then
dishes. Dish
dishes.
means a food item. Dishes means utensils. Okay. Dish means, for example, uh, let's say biryani is a dish. Noodles is a dish. Okay. Dishes means the utensils, what we use to serve the dish, is actually called dishes.
Playground.
Yes, exactly. Plates and glasses and all the rest of the items what we use in the kitchen. Okay.
Then I have been in favor of watching Discovery movie for a while.
Okay. So you can say, then I watch Discovery Channel for some time. I watch Discovery Channel. It's a channel, right? It's not a movie.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I watch Discovery Channel for some time. Okay. I watch Discovery Channel for some time. Next. Go ahead. Next.
I do my homework. I do my homework and Nate,
Huh?
I put down that and usually happening all the day in my diary and then save my prayer.
Okay.
No sooner do I lie there, I fall sound asleep.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much, Matt. Finally, congratulations to each other. We were able to understand. Yes, that's really
Yes,
nice.
ma'am.
I'm glad I was able to make corrections, because in the last session also I did have some issue, but I think I'm growing. I'm learning to understand a different accent. Thank you. Hope the corrections helped you. Thank you so much, Matt.
Yeah. Ma'am, I sincerely apologize for my pronunciation.
No problem. You don't have to apologize, my dear. we all have one or the other kind of accent. Okay, you never know, maybe there might be a lot of people who have issue with my accent, right? So it's okay, we need not to be perfect. We are not actually attending the session to be perfect, we are attending the session to learn. And unless we commit mistake, we never learn from that, right? So no problem, I am glad that I'm learning something from you. Okay, don't worry, just start working on the neutralization of your accent, so that it helps you in the future. It'll be easy for others also to understand. Okay, you don't have to apologize, just start working on that area in which you think you're lagging behind. Okay, thank you, Mayat. All right, so are
Bye
you
for your
ready?
time.
You're welcome, dear. All right, so are you all ready for today's something, the most exciting speaking activity, which I'm trying my level best not to disclose it to you immediately. Are you all ready? There are five people for time being whom I can actually kind of like, notice. So what we're going to do in today's session, see, the point is you all have already learned all the theory part of communication skills. It could be grammar, it could be vocabulary, it could be reading comprehension, synonyms and antonyms. You have learned all this part. It's time for us to actually practice everything, right? So today, let's have a group discussion. Are you ready for that? Let's take up a very simple topic. Okay, I will be the conductor of group discussion. What you have to do is, whoever wants to speak on the topic or about the topic, you just have to raise your hand and continue. Okay, I'll keep an eye on the participants list and I'll keep calling your name randomly. You can just speak about that. And I'll give you 30 seconds time to choose a topic. Anything specific you would like to speak about, you can let me know. Make sure that that's very easy to talk about. This is not any competition. Neither I'm gonna award anyone at the end of the discussion with something. So keeping all those factors in mind, let me know something which is very easy to talk about. Any suggestions from any of the participants? I'm waiting for your responses. Emmanuel, Mahat, Neeraj, Sanduni, Sajay Sharma, everyone? AI, artificial intelligence?
Ma'am,
Yes, Kasanga.
can you repeat the instructions, please?
Okay. See, we are going to speak about a topic. Okay. Let the topic be as simple as possible, like joint families versus nuclear families, or marriages versus no marriages, something like this. Okay. Something very simple to talk about so that everybody can pool into the discussion. When you are speaking, I'll help you to correct your sentences. Is it okay? Kasango, I hope you understood the instructions.
I've understood, yes.
Okay. Any suggestions you would like to make? Anybody? Any suggestion? Mr. Sharma, AI, I don't think everybody would know. Trust me, I do not know much about AI. Let's keep it very simple, very easy to talk about so that we get really charged up to speak about the topic. Corona? Cricket League? No. Everybody might not know about cricket. Neeraj? Anyhow, thanks so much for all your suggestions. Go ahead, go ahead. We'll pick up one. We'll pick one up quickly. Anybody else? Something very simple, very easy. Very easy. How about education system in general? Education system in general. Public speaking. Oh yes, I think that's a very good idea. Public speaking. How about the rest of the participants? Public speaking. time management, something very in general, which is applicable to everyone, which is known to everyone. Anybody else? Education system? Okay, what about the rest of the participants? Quickly, just let me know via chat. Is education system is okay with all the people? Education system? Advantage of indoor and outdoor games. Okay. Come on, we have to come to an agreement as soon as possible. Otherwise, we'll not be left with any time to speak about the topic. We'll just end up discussing the topic. Anybody? I think we'll stick on to public speaking. Let's decide that quickly. You can speak anything, about public speaking, for, against, okay. What do you think are the features of a public speaker, etc., etc. Anything, whatever comes to your mind on public speaking, you can go ahead. All right. Yes, here we go. Let's get started. I'll randomly start calling people's names. Whatever you have to say on public speaking, you can continue to say. Are we all in? Please send an yes if you have understood the instructions. Life of a working person during lockdown. Yes, Neeraj. That's a very good topic too. Let's stick on to public speaking for some time. Okay. This is not going to be the last group discussion ever. This is the first group discussion I assume you all are having. Yes, Kasongo, no problem. Thank you. Is everyone ready? If yes, please send me an S via chat quickly. If everyone is ready. Okay. All right. So, shall we get started? We'll start with Anupama. Anupama, it's your turn.
Okay, ma'am. Public speaking is an act of speech to an audience, according to the knowledge of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And
Go ahead.
It is understood as formal face-to-face speaking of a single person to a group of listeners.
Okay.
And it can be formal and informal.
All right, I can stop. Neeraj, your turn. Randomly, I'll keep calling people's names. Okay.
Speaking is the act of performing among the live audience. It is a face-to-face interaction between the group of listeners.
Between the group of
Listeners.
listeners. Okay.
Audience. The public speakers. The public speaking is easy to learn, as well as we will get a chance to connect with the people from different areas.
Okay.
We will be able to. We will be able to know about the current situation and the thoughts of the people about the situations.
Okay.
As
Thank you, Neeraj. Thank you. I don't want everybody to speak longer. Okay, I'm keeping a.
Ma'am, one example of this is of the public speaker is Sandeep Maheshwari.
Mm-hmm.
He is an inspiration for many individuals who have different thoughts.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Neeraj. You have to say not inspiration for, it's inspiration to. Make the correction. And Anupama, it is group of listeners, not group of listener. Okay, make the correction. And Neeraj, to you again, you said, see, these are different means of public speaking. Okay, medium is singular, media is plural. There is nothing called medias. Okay, all right. Yes, Kosongo, go ahead. After Kosongo, we'll go with Mayat and then Mr. Sharma.
Should I start?
Yes, Kosongo.
Public speaking. This is an act of speaking to an audience. Mostly public speaking, it depends on the type of audience you have. The language you use depends on that. And according to me, I think public speaking is only effective if there is feedback from the audience. You are like discussing. That way you easily understand each other. And in public speaking, we usually talk about topic of interest, what we are all interested in. Usually that's what happens in public speaking. What I mean is you can't start talking about, let's say, like here, it's public speaking. I'm speaking to the audience, that is everyone, the attendees, including to the panelists. I have to talk about the topic of interest. I can't talk about something like, let's say, the politics in my country. No, that's wrong. Yes, that's what I know about public speaking.
Thank you, Kasongo. Quickly correction. Mr. Sharma, you can go next. Just give me 30 seconds. Correction is, Kasongo, public speaking is very effective, usually very effective. I'm so sorry, I can't hear. Your voice has been breaking. Your voice has been breaking up still.
In present situation.
Okay, can you all mute yourselves quickly, please? Everybody, please mute yourselves.
Business sector and in
everybody, please mute.
In business sector as well as.
Yeah, I've muted all the participants. Hold on. Until I give you a green signal, please do not get started. Otherwise, it creates an echo, right? Mr. Sharma, I'll listen to you. Give me another 1 minute's time. Let me correct what Emmanuel spoke. Okay, let me correct that. Kasongo, this is for you. Public speaking is effective when it is interactive. That should be the sentence. Public speaking is effective when it is interactive. Okay, you don't have to say when public speaker speaks to audience and they speak back to him. That's very complicated. Keep it very simple. It's very effective when it is interactive. Interactive means like a conversation, right? That's the first one. Second, if a public speaker can choose a topic of people's choice, okay, people's choice. Because if you're speaking about something what people understand, what people are going through, then it is very effective. People's choice. Okay, that has to be the correction. All right, Mr. Sharma, we'll go with you. Kasongo, please mute yourself. Mr. Sharma?
Can I start, ma'am?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. So public speaking, what is public speaking? It is a soft skill. Basically, it is the presentation of something in front of live audiences. And it is public speaking is very important in business education as well as in public sectors. we can uh, we can see the we can see a lot of public speakers in public speakers like public speakers who you who choose some topics and give a long speech to the audiences about regarding something. And uh, uh, regard
All right, Mr. Sharma, no problem. You can mute yourself. The only mistake what
ma'am,
I
wait,
kind of,
ma'am, the net is
don't
not
worry, you will get
stable, ma'am.
opportunity. This is not the last time. I'll keep calling your name. Okay, don't worry. You can think more points. See, now you're only stuck towards what is public speaking, right? How it is going to help you. You can actually look at the topic from 360-degree angle. This is to all the participants. I'm letting you all know. Okay. And you can speak. Don't worry, this is not going to be the last chance to each one of you. You will get more turns. So please wait until then. Mr. Sharma, the only correction what I would like to make it to you is audience. It's not audiences, it's audience. Okay, audience, especially in the context in which you are framing the sentence, it's only audience. Okay, all right. Anupama, Anupama, we are done with you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Neeraj is also done. You're done with? Neeraj, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Mayat, if you want to say something on the topic quickly. After Mayat, again we'll start with Anupama, Neeraj, same in the same order, so that it will be easy. Mayat, we would like
Yes,
to hear
ma'am.
from you.
Yes, ma'am. People or people.
Mayat, hello. Mayat, can you hear us? We can't hear you, Mayat.
Oh, sorry, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yes,
I was trying to unmute you. All right.
yes, ma'am. I people or the communication anymore because we cannot live without friends or social media nowadays. And uh, more more people are trying to become social influencers or motivational speaker, public speaker, public speaker to change their they attempt to change their life, the listener, to change their life or to change their life or something.
Yes, Mayat, go ahead. We're listening.
Yes, ma'am. To change their life. So because more people are suffering such as suffering depression, so they listen. So in the reason to cure their depression, they listen the voice of motivational speaker and public speaker. So the social different and what social speaking is very important for their
For the people, right? Yes.
for the
Thank you so
people.
much, Mayat. Thank you. Yes, Anupama, we'll go with you.
Um, there
Mayat,
are
please mute yourself. Yeah, go ahead,
there
Anupama.
are 7 elements in public speaking. So based on the submission on in the 7 elements of public speaking are the speaker, the channel, the message, the feedback, the listener, the interference, and the situation. The speech communication process starts with the speaker. So the person who initiated the
Anupama, I'm so sorry to say, are you reading out from any slide or maybe from Google by any chance?
I got some information and I jotted down those and I prepared my own thing.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
And in public speaking, it is important to pay attention to body language and practice before we giving the ideas to the audience. And we must cope up with our nerves and the feelings that we get when we are presenting up our feelings to the audience, and we must be very careful when we are presenting our ideas to the audience, because those ideas can be different from one person to another, and from one nation to another nation. And sometimes it might create a lot of problems due to a misunderstanding of these ideas. And so that it is very important if one person expresses his or her own ideas to an audience. So and we must plan appropriately before we give a speech to an audience.
Thank you, Anupama. You can just stop very quickly. I'll just let you know what are your corrections. First one is the public. You spoke about two factors, right? The public speaker should have ABC and XYZ, two factors. So the second factor, what you mentioned, you should say a public speaker should have a very good body language. Public speaker should have a very good body language. Okay. That's the correction. Second is, this is very important for all of you. Please listen quickly. There was a sentence what Anupama used where she said cope up with. Please remember, it's not cope up with, it's only cope with. As a public speaker, you should know how to cope with your audience. You should know how to cope with your speaking skills. You should know how to cope with your problems. Okay. It's not cope up with, it's only cope with. Please make the correction immediately. You never say cope up with. Cope up with is a very big grammatical blunder. Cope with is the correction. So please do not say cope up with, it's only cope with. Next, you mentioned a sentence, right? See, the sentence has to be, it differs from person to person. It differs from nation to nation. It differs from place to place. Okay, so this is how the sentence has to be. When you're talking about it's different from person to person, it differs from person to person. It differs from nation to nation. It differs from culture to culture. Okay, this is how the correction should be. Thank you, Anupama. We'll go with Neeraj quickly. Neeraj? Yeah.
As I have heard from different people who live near me, they don't like public speaking because they admit that due to fear they feel somewhat nervousness while speaking in public, because in public because while we are alone we can speak anything, but in front of the public or audience we need to concentrate on our words, what we speak.
Go ahead, go ahead.
The public speaking helps us to overcome our fear.
Okay.
Overcome our fear. It helps to improve our speaking skill.
Very good.
As public speaking is mostly used in joint stock companies, big ventures, because in those type of companies we need public speakers in order to in order to get our employees motivated.
Thank you, Neeraj. You can stop at this point. I'm sure you're reading from one or the other source. All
No,
the
ma'am.
no,
No, ma'am. No.
because I don't know.
Because
I have a strong feeling.
no, ma'am. As my brother is also a public speaker, and in our house, we at 10 a.m., 10 p.m., we all sit together in a room and discuss over different topics. One day there was a topic of public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Like there
Okay.
are ma'am
No.
Ramesh,
Mm-hmm.
Ramesh and Vairab Nahata.
Okay.
So that there was a topic. By recollecting their words, I have presented here.
No problem. If it's of your own, big thumbs up to you. Bravo. I'm glad to know about that because as you were using all big vocabulary and all such phrases, idioms, I felt that you were reading it out. I sincerely apologize for that if you kind of like, if you weren't reading out from any source. So quickly, correction, Neeraj, please mute yourself. It's not feel nervousness. It has to be feel nervous. Okay. Usually you feel nervous when you go on stage. You feel nervous when you have to do something very challenging. Okay. You feel nervous when the result is, about to come, something like this. Okay. So it's always only feel nervous, not feel nervousness. Next, we need to be careful with the choice of topic and choice of words. That's what you wanted to say. With the choice of topics, with the choice of words. That's the correction. You use three different sentences in this section, so which I put it kind of like, I have merged all the three and I've kept it as one sentence so that it can convey the meaning what you want it to convey. Okay. Great. Thank you so much, Kasongo. Please go ahead. Kasongo, you there?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Public speaking, right? So usually public speakers they get butterfly in their stomach, that is, they get nervous due to the audience. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because of the hormone adrenaline, the fight or flight hormone that leads to that. And even here, usually myself, I get nervous. Like right now, I'm nervous due to this, the same thing. Public speakers. Okay, I'm nervous. Hello?
Yes, Kasongo. You're still listening.
Public speaking. I think everyone has talked about it.
Sorry?
I think everyone has talked about everything. I don't have what to say.
Is it?
I
Okay,
think so.
let's do one thing. Now I think everybody is beating around the bush. Let's quickly change the topic. Ready?
Yes, sure.
The topic
Yes.
is nuclear families versus joint families. Nuclear families versus joint families.
Am I starting?
Yes, start. Okay, for everybody's FIY, okay, for your information, rest of the participants, the topic we're changing because everybody's beating around the bush. Everybody's stuck to the point, what is public speaking? What is public speaking? I want you to speak spontaneously without looking at any source. Just whatever comes to your mind, go ahead. That's how our communication skills can be improved. Okay, so the topic is nuclear families versus joint families, and we'll start with Kasongo quickly.
Okay. Nuclear families versus extended families, right?
Nuclear family means just like husband, wife, children. That's all. Joint family means now, it's like you have your grandfathers, grandparents living with you. You have your uncles and aunt, staying with you. That's actually joint family.
So joint family same as extended family.
Yes.
Okay. According to what I said about our custom, I don't know if you remember that I said we deal with hospitality based hospitality in my culture. So I go with um, extended family because um, there are a lot of people there. You get to interact with your entire family. The nuclear family, whereby you just have your children and your wife, your husband. Um, it seems like someone has moved away from the family. According to me, moved away from the family, just isolated themselves instead of being with the family. So extended family usually is, despite um, spending of a lot according to food um, and also shelter, extended family is the best. Even though due to this coronavirus issue, they are telling us to stay at home. You have to be not crowded so that we don't get the virus. It seems like extended family is still fine. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Kasango. Matt will go with you. And I want you all to spontaneously start speaking. So if you have anything now, Kasongo spoke, you do not agree on a particular point what he made, then you can just immediately raise your hand, click on raise hand, symbol, so that I'll just call out your name immediately. It need not to go in the order at all. Okay. Yes, Sharma.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Despite of living in joint family, I prefer to live in nuclear family. I like nuclear family most
Mm-hmm.
because there are many advantages of nuclear family. Like if we have less income or if we have less or small income, then we can survive in nuclear family, but not in joint family. In nuclear family we get better opportunities of education and other health facilities and other facilities, but not in joint family. One of the most one disadvantages of advantage of joint family is that quarrels happen every time. Quarrels happen every time, but not in joint family. Quarrels happen in nuclear family, but not every time. In joint family sometimes regularly some happens, but in nuclear family not. uh, I think nuclear family is modern family. In nuclear family, uh, the in nuclear family the parents give, then in nuclear family the children's get more opportunities of extracurriculum activities. In joint family, some joint families, in rich joint families, childrens get opportunities of extracurriculum, but not in poor joint family. But in nuclear family, every joint in nuclear family, even it is rich or poor, as childrens get some or less more or less extracurriculum opportunities. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sharma. Who would like to go next? Let me know by raising the hand. Until then, I'll just correct the sentence. First mistake, Sharma, is it's not children's, it's only children. Please keep this in mind. Child is singular, children is plural. I repeat, child is singular, children is plural. Okay. So whenever you talk about children, it remains children. Children might not get good education. Children might not receive the best, education policy, or children might not get very good medical attention. Okay, you should always say like that. When will you use children? You can make a note of this too. When will you use children's? Children's actually comes with an apostrophe s. Can you see this? Apostrophe s. So how do you use that? For example, I can say children's park. I can say children's property. I can say children's playground. Okay, so you can use apostrophe s with children only when you're talking about something which belongs to children. I, I hope I'm
Ma'am,
making sense to
ma'am,
you.
I know this, ma'am. The children is plural and children is singular and child is singular and children is plural. I make this mistake because of nervousness.
It's okay, Sharma, no problem. You have to get used to it because this is a very very important factor while speaking in English. This is a very silly mistake. We all tend to commit sometimes here and there. So just I thought maybe you're not we might not be aware of this factor. I thought I'll let all the participants know about
Oh,
this. Okay, it's for everyone. This is not only for you, this is for everyone. Okay, so make sure when you use children's and people's, it means, especially with apostrophe s, it means you're talking about something which belongs to children, or you're talking about something which belongs to people. For example, it is people's park, people's property, people's education. That's how you speak. Whenever you talk about something which belongs to people, which belongs to children, people's, children's. Otherwise, in general, when you talk about people, children, people stays as people and children stays as children. Okay. Yeah. So who wants to go next? Before that, one more correction I wanted to make quickly. uh, Sharma actually used a word called despite of. Please make a note. Please make a note. See, there are two words which are similar to each other. Which are they? One is despite, another one is in spite of. In spite of. Okay, in spite of. These are kind of like, words which are equivalent to each other in meaning. Point number one, whenever you use in spite, using of becomes compulsory. But when you use despite, you never use of with despite. I repeat, the first mistake what we have to make sure that we kind of like, never tend to commit in the future. First one, you should always say in spite of, but you should never say despite of. Okay. How do you use them in the sentence? Very simple. For example, if I say, in spite of my illness, in spite of my illness, or in spite of my sickness, I attended the class. I attended the class. In spite of my sickness, I attended the class, right? See here, means although I was sick, I attended the class. So in spite of basically means although, right? Both the words can fit into each other here. They can replace each other in the same sentence because both the words have the same meaning here. Although I was sick, either you can say although I was sick, I attended the class, or you can say in spite of my sickness, I attended the class. I repeat, although I was sick, I attended the class, or in spite of my sickness, I attended the class. Okay. So if you want to remove in spite of from this sentence, the moment you use despite in the place of in spite of, the sentence will become like this. Despite my sickness, look at this. Despite my sickness, I attended the class. Either option number one, in spite of my sickness, I attended the class. Option number two, despite my sickness, I attended the class. Likewise, just one more example. Despite COVID-19, despite COVID-19, I am studying 2 hours a day. I'm studying 2 hours a day. Okay, 2 hours a day. Either you can say, despite COVID-19, I'm studying 2 hours a day. Or if you do not want to use despite, then you can say, in spite of COVID-19, in spite of COVID-19, I'm studying 2 hours a day. Okay. So when you use in spite, using of is compulsory. When you use despite, you should never use of. Please keep this in mind. This is a very important correction. Okay. Who wants to go next? I'm still waiting for your hands to be listened quickly. Who wants to go next? I think one more person, one last person can speak, as we have left with very less time. Anybody,
Ma'am,
any volunteers?
Ma'am, shall I go ahead?
Yes, Anupama.
In my point of view, I think joint families are better than the nuclear families,
Okay.
because there's plenty of help we can take, like, because there are grandparents, uncles and aunties and cousins, all of them are living together, and there's plenty of help from each other, and the interactions between the grandparents with the sons and granddaughters are very high, so the bond between them is really in a high level, so less loneliness and less depression is there. So if we consider about the financial responsibilities, they will also reduce, because there are many elders in the family, so they can earn, but as in nuclear families, uh, only the parents, only two people, maybe mother and father, they have to earn, while for the children. So in a joint family, there are a lot of elders, so in financially they will not make any problems. So in joint families, yeah, they can easily mingle with each and every people, and in case of festivals, and in any case of important occasions, it will be super fun, because everybody get involved into that fact, and no one feels that this is only mine, this is ours, that feeling comes. So uh, there'll be no dearth of friends, as cousins and like maybe children with same age are there, so they can their ideas are equal, the same age people, their ideas are equal, so then um, they can share their ideas, and they think that there is a person who is with the same mentality of mine. um, and there are if we talk about the disadvantages, there might be plenty of conflicts. For an example, if we take if there are only two bathrooms, people may like, there may be conflicts for to go to the washroom in the morning, like likewise. So there will be less privacy, because one fact will be shared by many people, so the privacy will be less. So the in when we take the decision making, there are many elders in a joint family, so we have to ask each and everyone's decision, and finally have to come for a conclusion. So uh, that's it, ma'am.
That's very nice, Anupama. That's very nice. Just one correction I would like to make it over here quickly. The correction is, usually when you are with the people who are of the same age, you can make a note. When you are with the people, when you're with people who are of same age, who are of the same age, okay, automatically mentality will match, ideas will match, principles will match. Again, terms and conditions apply, it need not to. It depends on a lot of factors, but we are at least hoping. So the sentence has to be ideas match, not ideas are the same. You can say ideas match, mentality matches, even the opinions might match, correct? So apart from that, I did not find out, I couldn't identify any further mistakes. I think, my dear friends, we might have to stop at this point. However, I'm gonna send an assignment to all of you by the end of the day, most probably a reading assignment. Next session, what you have to do is you have to read that, okay? These are all stories. I'm going to share two beautiful stories with each one of you. You just have to make sure that you choose one story out of the two. I'm giving two options you'll have, but you have to read one story at least. Either of the stories is okay with me. You have to read one story, and in the next session you have to narrate whatever you understood. You don't have to mug up the story. Point to be noted, I don't want you to mug up the story. I want you to read the story, understand the story in your own words, and then I want you to present that in front of people. You will have only 3 minutes time each to do that. So make sure that you prepare yourself and come. It's not just like, you kind of, get in, log into the session and you're not prepared. That's not going to help us in the next session for sure, because we can handle a lot of theories. Unless we do have the practicals, it's not going to be very, very effective. So keeping those factors in mind, we'll make sure that the assignment reaches you. You make sure that you prepare yourselves and you get back to the next session. And if you have any questions, clarifications, queries, you can always leave a comment, or you can help us out by sending us an email. You can let us know by sending us an email. Plus, you can even ask those questions in the next session too. Okay. So I'm going to see you all. Thank you so much for attending this session. Thank you so much for your participation. I really appreciate everybody volunteering in terms of speaking, and you want to actually share a lot of things. That shows how fascinated you are to learn something new. Okay. So with the same, thank you so much once again to all of you. I wish you all the best in the journey of communication skills, because we have a long time to spend with each other. And have an amazing time ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.